Hello everyone, Eric Erds here. Since we're all stuck at home, I thought it'd be fun to do a quick top 5 things that you might find enjoyable on YouTube. These are a combination of channels that I think you should check out that will give you lots of hours of entertainment. The first thing I would like to recommend is a series of adventures, D&D type adventures, from a group known as Aquisitions Inc. This is D&D comedy. They've been doing it for over a decade. It's by the Penny Arcade people and officially from Wizard of the Coast. And it's the ongoing adventure that started off at PAX conventions and has grown from a single meeting space to filling theaters, no joke, of people watching it. It's a lot of fun. I think you'll enjoy it a lot. Many hours of watching. Here's a clip, and I should warn you, as they warn everybody else, these are adults using adult language. So here's a little bit from an early adventure.
Well, now that that's over with, perhaps we should talk about the summer retreat. We're taking the house to Neverwinter.
Sometimes we take the house on vacation.
You take the whole house on vacation?
It's a traveling house. Really? You guys didn't have a traveling house? This is getting weird now.
Olivia says,
I didn't have a house. I slept underneath a tree. And I liked it.
We have a couple trees on the grounds.
Put these books in your box. Close the lid of the box. Remove the key. Swallow the key. Get the fuck on this dragon. Let's get out of here. Every person in your family is batshit loco. Some of them don't have heads. Some of them have heads that are being perpetually rebuilt. Some of them are tiny children made out of snakes.
Listen, we can have dinner and then we can go.
Olivia says, that would be very civilized of you. And it's been so long since we've seen you, James.
Shut up, Olivia.
I kind of want to see the walking house.
It doesn't walk.
Oh.
It just sort of travels through interdimensional space.
Jim, did you hear the story about the guy who inherited everything at a dinner where he was surrounded by jealous, crazy relatives, and then they went insane and tried to kill him and his friends?
I told you I have no memory.
The movie.
Doesn't ring a bell.
It's a story we used to tell when we were growing up in the forest where we didn't have houses or parents.
We entertained ourselves with imaginary tales.
Imaginary tales of people, friends who said, perhaps we should leave. It's called The Tales of the Friends Who Weren't Listened To.
That's my cat. Have some dinner. We don't have to spend the night. Just eat and we'll go. It'll be cool.
Jim, did you hear the story of the guy who inherited everything and then the crazy family tried to poison
Hold on
him
a second.
through the food?
Anybody here going to try to do anything bad?
Dark magic.
No. See, it's fine. Quit being such babies.
Hey.
Okay, second thing I want to recommend is, of course, the classic Critical Role. Critical Role is a ongoing, for many years, again, D&D campaign led by Matt Mercer, and the players are all voice actors. Very talented. This is a very famous campaign that's been on YouTube for a very long time. It's still ongoing. As a matter of fact, there's so much material, I'm not sure where to suggest jumping in. They've had 2 separate campaigns taking place at different time periods in the same world. The second campaign started about 2 years ago, but you may want to just jump in with the most current episode just so you get started and stuff. This is a very traditional D&D campaign. There's a lot of humor in it and a lot of fun stuff, but it's not the pure comedy gold that I recommend with Act Inc. So here's a little clip to give you an idea of what it's like.
Still propping Ford up with bow. Just breathe slow.
Spin back around the fort.
Slow.
You alright? I mean, aside from no?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. Thank you. Are they all gone?
I think so. They were really hacking you up.
Yeah, it feels pretty shitty inside of my chest right now. Not gonna lie.
I think your lung is still punctured.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh god, like you can see it?
It's just, you see a little bit of a puncture
Just
wound.
push it back in. Just push.
Okay, ready? One, two, three.
Oh, don't touch it, don't touch it, don't touch it.
Okay.
Did you feel the stone?
The what?
The what?
The stone. Oh.
Talk right now.
The orb?
The ball. What else were they here for?
It has to be that. I didn't know I still had it. I can't feel it now. I don't know where it is. I thought it was in the sword. I thought this was...
You hear this strange guttural impact, a resonant sound that's familiar to you. It's the arrival of a dimension door spell.
Oh.
Immediately you hear a brief incantation beneath someone's breath, a little ways away, the storm almost swallowing it entirely, but Caduceus, you're in the middle of chanting and it picks up. I need Beauregard, Caleb, Veth. I need all 6 of you to roll wisdom saving throws, please.
Son of a bitch.
All but Ford.
And me?
Can I make...
Too?
Yep.
Can I make a reaction?
Oh, God, natural one.
What kind of reaction are you making?
Natural one
Cast a
over here.
spell.
Oh.
Is it a reaction spell?
No.
Then no, you cannot.
Okay.
Wisdom saving spell?
Saving throw, yeah.
2.
25.
Okay.
11.
Okay.
Natural one.
Okay.
Natural one.
Okay.
22.
All right.
Pretty big
Caduceus
spread.
and Caleb, you feel this influence try and kind of climb within your body, and you manage to shove it away, while Beauregard, Veth,
So sorry.
Jester, and Yasha, your bodies immediately lock up, and you find yourself unable to move, your muscles frozen in space by some kind of arcane influence.
Is anyone from the Cerberus zooming in on the boat?
You turn around, and on the deck you see, freshly arrived, a half-elven woman with short brown hair, standing there, long robes flowing in the wind, hand out.
Yeah, hello. Identify yourself, please.
I would like you to identify yourself first. Get away from the wounded one.
We are the Mighty Nine. Here's one of us.
Just had a lot happen here in a very short amount of time.
Very well. The paralysis fades. You can hear now other bells ringing, and you can see off in the distance other ships that have slowly begun making their way in your direction after hearing the initial bell runs.
Anyone noticed?
The next couple of video channels I want to recommend on YouTube to give you something to do. The first one's called Don't Stop Thinking. It's by a game master in Australia. He does these really clever animations. And if you've ever wanted to think about getting into D&D, this is the channel. He has a great tutorial, animated tutorial on how to create characters, run a game, you name it. He also has done another one on Call of Cthulhu game. And he has a lot of good advice. And he also interviews people from that region of the world, Australia, New Zealand, Asia, and whatnot. So it gives you a very different perspective on the D&D community. It's not just America that's playing these games. So here's a little clip of what you can expect.
Just so that everyone is on the same page, I'm going to start from the very beginning. What is Dungeons & Dragons? To the uninitiated, Dungeons & Dragons, or D&D for short, is a tabletop role-playing game. It is a game played using your imagination and a set of rules and dice. Usually set in a fantasy world, the players play as characters of various races, background, or occupational classes. So, you can be an elven wizard sage, human fighter soldier, dwarven cleric acolyte, and any other available combinations. Your goal as players can be as simple as defeating an evil dragon, going to the end of the world to retrieve a magical artifact, or even negotiate peace between warring kingdoms. But along the way, there are many challenges that you need to overcome. To set the challenges, referee the game, and wrap everything in a coherent narrative, someone has to take on the role of a dungeon master. The dungeon master is not a player, he's the storyteller, the one who expositions the world the players are in. He also controls the monsters and other characters the players may come across on their adventure, or NPCs, which stands for non-playable characters. He may use an adventure module, which is a pre-written adventure manual bought from stores, or create the adventure himself. Either way, he is tasked to adjudicate the rules fairly and to entertain the players.
Next channel I want to recommend is WebDM. These guys give a very good topic by topic, you can search for what you're looking for. Advice on all things D&D, from when to start a campaign, when to do, how to handle combat, how to handle downtime, you name it. You can find the subject you're looking for. It's really good, solid device. Lots of fun. Check them out. Here's a clip.
So where do you like to start the action, and how do you like to get the band together, so to speak, and how do you like to start that action off?
Yeah. So when I'm thinking about how I want to kick off a campaign, how I want to get things going, I try to keep several things in mind. One of them is that the point of a first session is to begin to. It doesn't need to fully come together, but it's to begin to draw the party together. Now, D&D and most of the role-playing games come with the sort of metagame conceit that you are a party of adventurers who are going to experience this adventure together. There's a lot of groups now who sort of have a house rule, a play style that assumes at some meta level the party will stick together and you will avoid things that that drive a wedge between that. Mm-hmm. That's not the only way to play. There's a lot of groups, and it's a very satisfying way to play where you don't necessarily know each other. There's not necessarily a commitment to always keeping the party together. Players can feel a bit more free to pursue their own goals, and there's an understanding that means less time for your individual spotlights, but when you get it, it's going to be doing what it is that you want, and then it's up to everyone to make sure that people are included, that all right, even though we're going to do the mages thing today, cleric and fighter are going to tag along because they have something they have adjacent interests, mm-hmm. or fighters doing it to curry favor and just do the wizard a solid, so that later on down the line they'll mm-hmm. So return the favor, and
the cleric's doing it because he doesn't trust the wizard.
He doesn't trust the wizard.
Keep an eye on that freaking wizard.
Yeah.
Finally, I'd like to also recommend the advice of Matt Colville. Matt Colville is a fantasy writer, but he also has written video games. But he's always been a huge game master player. He does have an ongoing campaign, but his basic YouTube channel is just solid, good advice. Again, like WebDM, you just go in, look if you're looking for something specific, or just enjoy listening to his advice.
Just like this is not a movie, and this is not a meal. The recipe is just a set of instructions. It may produce a tasty meal that you like, or it may not, because there are many things that will go into the process of making it that are not exactly detailed here. Just like this is not a movie, there are many things that have to happen between this, regardless of how detailed it is, and the finished product. These are very important. These are critical. They are part of the foundation of the final work, but they are not the final work. I am very interested in the rules. I spend a lot of my time at the table asking my players to actually read me verbatim what their spell or special ability does, because I have 30 years of reading rule books for lots of different games, literally hundreds of different games, and designing rule books. And I think I have a basic understanding of how designers tend to write things. And my players often get halfway through reading the special ability or the spell, and they think they know what it does. They jump to a conclusion, there's a rush to judgment, and they start talking about doing it, but I have questions, and they don't have answers. They think they understand it. I say, keep reading. Usually it's the last sentence, the one right before you stopped reading is the one that has the information I'm looking for. I'm very interested in the rules. I want to know what the rules say, and once I know what the rules say, I'm free to ignore them or interpret them however I want.
Anyhow, that should keep you busy for a while. I hope you're all healthy and doing well, stuck at home. Okay, so take care. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.